Good afternoon. How are you diddling? Excellent. Me too. Thank you very much for asking. Welcome to another episode of Dazed and Confused, where we go through and try and help you out as much as we possibly can do, answering your social media and video questions. Stuff that's really giving you a bit of a niggle at the moment, trying to get your content out there, all that kind of stuff. We're currently live on Periscope, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram as well. So we're live across a bunch of places. We've got a few questions that have already come in as well. So if you've got any questions at all about social media, about video, just something that's really you're struggling with at the moment, just stick it into the comments, whatever platform you're watching on, and I will do my absolute best to answer as many of them as I possibly can do today. Hopefully you've had a good weekend. It's a brand new week and we're ready to kick off with stuff. We're going to be talking about how you should be kicking off your week today. Titled the video called What's Cooking. We'll go into that in a little bit. First things first though, who am I to tell you anything? I'm Simon Scholes. I'm the founder and creative director of Perception Studios, and we're an award-winning visual marketing agency. We help brands, we help businesses create content that helps them stand out on social media. That's our specialist area. And what we do is we create videos, animation, aerial photography, graphical content, whatever it might be, to really help them stand out, completely bespoke and just really something different every single time for different brands. And it's completely bespoke to them. However, a few years ago, it became very obvious to me that not every brand, not every business had budgets where they could have content created on a regular basis. However, social media thoroughly requires you to be consistent. You have to be putting content out every single day, every single week, consistently. So if you're not doing that because you can't afford for somebody to create it for you, how could you do it? So I sat down, I came up with a process. I called it How to 9 Times Your Social Media. I turned it into a former #1 book, which you can still download right now. Get your copy. It's available on the link in the section below. That will take you through to Amazon, where you can buy it now for like 99p, I think it is. And it's a whole process I take my customers, my clients through, where you start off with planning your content and you end with a podcast and everything else that happens in between as well. So if you're interested in that, go and take a look at the link in the section below. But these broadcasts, that's what this is all about as well, just trying to help you get on that content creation journey, start making more content for your brand, for your business. We've been going through some really weird times lately. We're in a situation where nobody knows really what's going on, and nobody knows when they're definitely going to be back at work, when they're definitely going to be having customers back through the door again. And selling is hugely important, but right now, still building your brand, still making sure people know who you are and what it is that you do, especially using the platforms that are available to you for free, is really important. So you need to be using social media as an outlet for your brand and for your business and getting people to start talking about you and what it is that you do. And you can do that in lots of different creative ways. However, you can't do that if you don't know what you're going to be talking about. And that's one of the biggest struggles for a lot of people, is they have absolutely no idea what their content is going to be about day by day, week by week. So they struggle. They go, I don't know what it's going to be about. So then they decide not to put anything out at all because they've got no idea what they're going to be talking about. Excuse me, I'll just have a quick drink. So what are you going to be talking about this week? That's what I want to ask you right now. The question for today is, what's cooking in your social media this week? What are you putting out on your social media that is going to give value to your audience this week? Are you a PT and you're going to show people how to prep meals? Are you going to show them how to do a bunch of exercises? What are you going to show them? Are you an accountant? Are you going to show them how they can apply for the next step of help when it comes to furlough help for self-employed? Are you going to be speaking to companies as an accountant and helping them out? Or are you going to be an HR person and helping companies understand that unfortunately we're in a situation where a lot of people are going to be made redundant, and how you can go through that in a legal way? There's all sorts of help lots of different brands and businesses could actually be giving right now, and they're sat there on their bums, sat on their hands, not putting anything out because they're not really sure what they're going to talk about. This is where planning really, really pays off. If you are not planning your content, if you have not got a plan for your content for just this week even, sit down after this live broadcast is finished and write down what you're going to talk about day by day by day and make content work. For example, literally, I've not really looked at this list, I've just written it down. There are special events and days happening every single week. I have a bunch of websites I use. I literally scrolled through one website and found what days were happening today, tomorrow, all the way through to Friday. So today, for example, is Lazy Day. So I could be doing this broadcast right now talking about Lazy Day and the fact that it's not a good time to be lazy, really. It's the time to be on your feet, being proactive, doing more than the competitor is doing, because maybe the competitor's being lazy right now because we're in this weird situation. So you need to be better than everybody else and putting stuff out. So don't be lazy. Tomorrow is son and daughter day. So maybe you could be creating content, including your son and daughter, or getting your clients to include their sons and daughters in stuff, or your work team and whatever. There's all sorts of stuff you could do with that. World Calligraphy Day is on Wednesday, talking about blogging. Obviously, calligraphy being a form of writing, and joined up writing, which is kind of really fancy. My dad used to do it, and he was very, very good at it. Thursday is Filet Mignon Day, the best of the best. How do you create the best of the best content? Friday is Tattoo Removal Day. We all make mistakes. We do it on social media all the time, but it doesn't mean you can't just delete something or correct it. You can edit most posts. Not on Twitter, but pretty much everywhere else. You can just dive in, edit it, and correct a spelling mistake, correct a grammar mistake, so that the grammar people just don't start jumping all over you if you've made a mistake. And that's just me very quickly looking at that list of things I wrote down and going, that's what I could talk about. And that's just off the top of my head. You could do the same thing for your business. Whatever business you are in, you could look at what events are happening and talk about those events. Making content easier for yourself. That's what How to 9 Times Your Social Media is all about. Making content, but making that content easier to create in the first place. Making what you've already created work harder for you. For example, if you've got a blog, how can you make that blog work harder for you? Well, believe it or not, you could turn that blog into a video without even you needing to be on it, and actually quite easily. You just need to speak to professionals to try and help you to do it. You could turn it into a podcast. All you've got to do is open up voice notes and start speaking. You could turn it into memes. You could turn it into short form video content. There's so much you could do, but you've got to be willing to put a little bit of work in. If you can plan your content, it'll make a world of difference to knowing where you're going with what you're going to be talking about. And who doesn't want an easy life? Let's be honest, we all want an easy life. So start thinking about planning your content. I know it's Monday, I know we're halfway through the day already, but that doesn't matter. This broadcast is going to end soon enough, and then you can sit down and just go through a few of the days that are happening this week and start creating some content around those special days. Because the reason I want you to do that is I want you to start thinking about, well, if I hashtag it with Lazy Day, then other people who are searching the hashtag Lazy Day will find my content potentially and maybe have a look at it, read it, watch it, listen to it, view it. And then they might like what I've got to say and follow, and then like more of my stuff, and then start sharing it. And then your tribe starts to grow. But if you hadn't done that in the first place, then I wouldn't be doing that. And this whole process is just about getting your mindset into a habit of actually doing content. What is it they say? I think it's 22 days to create a habit. Well, you've got to be creating content then every single day for 22 days. And if you haven't got a plan in place, that's going to be really difficult, because you're going to get to day number 3 and go, I don't know what I'm going to talk about today. I'm not going to bother. I just won't put anything out on Instagram. Well, that's not how it works. You need to be consistent. You need to be out there. You need to be talking to people all the time. And I know it's daunting and it's difficult. That's why you need a process to make it easy for yourself. Otherwise, it does get daunting and difficult and hard to do. Nobody said running a business or social media or marketing as a whole was easy. But you can make it easier, especially with the free stuff you can do yourself. So hopefully, like I say, you've got some bit of a push from this broadcast today. You're gonna sit down after it's finished and start planning some content for the rest of this week. If you're listening to it, the podcast later on this evening, if you're watching the replay, whenever you're watching it, for whatever week it is that you're watching it in, just sit down after it's finished and start planning your content for the rest of this week. Just put it down on paper, what you're going to talk about. Trust me, it's going to make life so much easier for you. Okay, we're going to dive into the questions now. If you've got any questions at all while you're watching this, if you've got any questions about planning, if you've got any questions about video, social media as a whole, whatever platform you're watching on, let me know that you're out there. Say hello in the comments and let me know what you want to ask, and I will answer as many of them as I possibly can do today. We've got a couple of questions that came in before the broadcast anyway, so I'm going to dive into those. I asked on Twitter the question if anybody had any questions, and Wedding Crafts Academy came back with, do I like videos or podcasts more? So I like working on both types of content. I love working on podcasts. My background is audio. Of course, I'm going to love audio more than anything else. However, my business is all about visual because I like that creativity. And they've both got their place. They've both got their position in content. If it's just pure out and out content, video performs better, but podcasts I think are going to catch up very quickly. But also I think podcasts just remove that level of friction for everybody. And I've spoken about this before in the past, where there is friction connected to all different types of content, even podcasting, but it's probably the one with the least amount of friction. If you blog, people have got to want to sit down and read your blog. It could be the greatest blog in the world, but if I don't want to read it, how can I consume your content? It could be video, it could be a live video. What if I don't have 10 plus minutes to sit down and watch your content? It could be short form video. What if I just really don't like consuming video content? What if it's a meme on Instagram? Well, what if I don't want to sit through my Instagram feed and scrolling to find your content specifically to then have a read about what you've put? What if I don't want to watch your TikToks? I'll go to your Snapchat. Well, podcasts is just a really great way of kind of removing all of that friction, because you don't need to be doing anything other than what you were doing originally to listen to a podcast. You could be mowing the lawn and have it on your headphones. You could be driving the car and having it playing in the background. You could be cooking dinner and having it there. You could be playing with the kids and still having a podcast audio in the background. You can do pretty much everything with audio playing in the background within reason. So why would you not, as a business, as a brand, if you're creating video content, especially, not have a podcast? Because all you have to do is take that audio off and you have a podcast. As long as it's not completely visually based, if you're not going through a presentation and showing things and describing what it is you're showing all the time, you're onto a winner. This piece of content right now that I am speaking on, I'm going to strip the audio off this video and turn it into a podcast. It will be a podcast at 6 o'clock tonight on iTunes, on Spotify, and on SoundCloud, and a bunch of other places. So why would you not do that? Podcast is just, for me, it's just one of the most frictionless pieces of content. Don't get me wrong, not everybody wants to consume a podcast. Obviously, you have people who are hard of hearing or deaf, might not even be able to consume a podcast. That's why other types of content are so valuable as well. And you just have to constantly think about removing that level of friction. That's why my whole book is about, you should be blogging, you should be doing video, you should be doing short form video, you should be doing podcasts, you should be doing memes, you should be doing this, that, and the other. Because once you do everything, and it sounds like a whole mishmash and a head fuck, but once you're doing everything, then you're in a position where you have removed the friction for everybody to be able to consume what you've got to say. And then whatever platform you want to specialize in is where you put the most of your content out. Hopefully that answers your question. Bit of a long-winded answer, I think, but I think podcasts are really going to catch up video. I think podcast is probably one of the strongest pieces of content there is out there, other than video. Hello to ITF on social media, who's joined us on YouTube. I've had a very good day indeed. Thank you very much. And Ed McIntyre as well, who's just joined us on Facebook. And he's saying podcasts are amazing. Definitely a passion of mine. I highly recommend anyone starting a podcast about whatever they want to be about. Just sit down and enjoy having a chat about something you like. Exactly. It could be about anything. You could be a huge fan of mini ring lights. Brilliant. Talk about mini ring lights and how the Octathon mini ring light has 3 individual settings and how it's so easy to use and how you can clip it. Whatever your passion is, you might think it's boring to everybody, but there'll be somebody else out there who will enjoy what it is that you're talking about. Ed, for example, has the most boring subject on the planet, Leeds United. Who wants to listen to anything about them? Even though they have just made it into the Premier League and will probably beat Liverpool hands down next year. But anyway, but podcasts are so strong, such a strong piece of content. So if you've not tried doing one yet, you could either just do a podcast on its own, or like I say, if you're doing video content, you've got a podcast, you have one, you've just got to make it. And that's where either doing it yourself comes in, or getting a professional like yours truly, or someone local to you to help you out, taking the audio off videos and turning them into podcasts. But it's definitely a game you should be playing. Okay, next question. Coming in from Kim. Okay, this is an interesting one because a lot of people have been talking about this over the weekend. Should I be using Instagram Reels? Okay, so for those of you who don't know what Instagram Reels are, I've had this for a little while now as part of the beta test. I've not really spoken about it, mainly because I wasn't that massively impressed. It's basically Instagram's version of TikTok. They are trying to take over the TikTok market. Now, it kind of worked. People kind of dissed stories when they first came up because Snapchat was already doing it, but stories have taken on. They haven't taken on Facebook, even though they're still pushing them really hard on Facebook. So if you do story content, definitely put it out on Facebook, because they are pushing the content out to quite a good audience. But stories kind of, I don't know, they've kind of worked alongside Instagram quite well. TikTok just, it feels a bit like IGTV. It just feels like a bit of a, oh, well, we should be doing that, so we'll bolt it on. And it's not an individual app. So even IGTV is its own app in its own right. It feels a bit rushed, for want of a better way of putting it. It just doesn't feel right. However, does that mean you shouldn't be using it? No, it doesn't mean you shouldn't be using it. Absolutely. Especially if you're already using TikTok and you're creating content for TikTok, put that content on Instagram Reels and watch it absolutely freaking fly. Because one of the things they are going to make sure right now is, if you are creating content on Instagram Reels, it's going to get in front of everybody, because they want everyone to be using Instagram Reels. They're going to make sure that content is in front of every single person. They want everybody to be seeing that Instagram Reels are far better than TikTok. They're not. They do the same music stuff. They do the same filters. They do the same everything, cuts, all sorts of stuff. But they're going to want everybody to think it's better than TikTok. So they're going to want everybody using it. So they're going to put massive numbers behind those people who are using it. So then when people dive a bit deeper and go, hang on a minute, they got like 7,000 views on that, and they only normally get 200. I'm going to use Instagram Reels as well. And they're going to people will start using it. So, yeah. It's definitely a place to be using it, but don't go crazy on it. Don't start putting masses of effort into it, but definitely use it. Definitely use Instagram Reels, but just don't go mad. Don't make work for yourself, because for me, I think TikTok do it better. TikTok have been there for a lot longer. They were there first, and the audience has already migrated away from Instagram. Instagram's already aged up. So the audience who are on TikTok now are a younger audience, don't get me wrong, and it is aging up quickly, but they've already migrated away. The people who want to do that kind of content are already on TikTok. And those that aren't on TikTok, because they thought TikTok was going to get closed down by the American government, are now on Byte and on Triller and a bunch of other apps. So Instagram Reels is great. Should you be doing content on it? Absolutely, because it's going to get pushed hard. Should you put all your eggs into one basket? Absolutely not. Still consider using all the other platforms, but hopefully that helps, Kim. Because yeah, I wouldn't say don't use it, but like I said, I wouldn't say put massive effort into it. But you should be using it. If you've got access to it, use it, because you've got to know that a platform, if they've got a particular piece of software, or if they've got a function that they have on their app and they've just launched it and they're telling everybody about it, they're sure as hell going to want you to use it. And if you are using it, you're going to be doing better than anybody who isn't. Okay, let's have a look on here. ITF on social media is asking, what's the topic about? Today's topic specifically was about planning content and making sure that you have a plan in place for your content for the ongoing future, basically, but just trying to get people to plan their content for the coming week and just get on board with doing that. But then just generally any social media or video questions, as always. Hello to Mini Me. I haven't seen you in ages. Hope you are well. Thank you for joining us on Instagram Live. But anyway, we've been going for 20 minutes. I've answered a few questions, and hopefully that's helped. If anybody's watching right now, we'll go till like 21, 22 minutes. If you've got any questions at all, stick them into the comments. I will do my best to answer them as best as I possibly can do. And if you're watching on the replay now and you're like, I've got a question, but I didn't get a chance to ask it, you can either stick it in the comments below on this video right now, or you can email me on the email address that's scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Drop me an email on there. We can either have a chat on email, or I can answer your question on the next live, which is on Wednesday. And we'll see what we can do there. Hopefully I can help you out in some way, shape or other. And if you're listening on the podcast this evening or at any other time, my email address is in the description box. So you just go down below, click on my email address, drop me an email, and we can have a chat that way as well. And I can try and help you out as best as I can that way instead. Okay. Thank you so much for watching today. If you are brand new and you've not subscribed to me on whatever platform you're watching on at the moment, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Click it right now. Click notifications as well if it's on that particular platform, so that you never miss out on any of this content ever again. And don't forget as well, that share button where you share this piece of content to your audience on a different social media platform is just off to one side. So why don't you share it as well? If you think anybody you know will get value from this piece of content or any of the other content I create, hit share. Get it out to them, let them know all about it. Let's keep building the community, getting more and more people in on these live videos, in on the normal videos that I do every single week as well. Try and get more people asking more questions, and hopefully we can just help as many people as humanly possible get onto that content creation journey and start using social media more for their brand and for their business. Anyway, I'm going to shoot off until Wednesday, same time-ish, maybe a little bit earlier than 12:30. I am going to say go and have a good time in the sunshine. It's a beautiful day down south. I don't know what it's like anywhere else. I was up north this weekend and it was miserable. So hopefully it's nice where you are, and I will see you on Wednesday. Stay safe in this current climate and have a good one. Thanks for watching. Bye.